Hello, VIPs. I wanted to do a check-in, kind of fill you in on what is going to be happening in August. Hopefully, you obviously get emails from Fasterway. Hopefully, you got my email for August Monday night. Just kind of explaining to you what's going to be taking place, our new food cycle, our workout cycle, our new 5-day cortisol reset that you guys are going to be able to jump in and take advantage of. But I just wanted to jump on here and just kind of touch base, share a little bit more info in detail. And obviously, if you have any questions, please comment below this post in our group. You can always text me, you can email me if you have some individual questions, but I am just so excited. August is here. Summer is not over yet. I know for most of us in the Midwest, our kids, if you have kids in school, do not go back yet. I know a lot of the southern states, kids are already going back to school, which just seems so crazy. While I do miss going back after Labor Day, at least we have about 2.5 more weeks. So that is good. But I just wanted to touch base. So, a lot of times during summer, we can kind of backslide a little bit. This is something that, I'm not only hearing from you guys, but even myself. We were up north for 8 or 9 days over July 4th, and I enjoyed myself. I was very mindful. I made sure to start my day with protein and fiber. But did I track really strictly? Is that a word? Really strict? No, I didn't. And you know what? It's okay. Summer can be a time where we kind of lay off the gas a little bit. Maybe we're not tracking as hard. Maybe you're at parties or get-togethers, or you're traveling, or you want to have a glass of wine on the boat in the evening. That is okay. We can kind of step off the gas a little bit at times, but what's important is that we don't do it for too long, that we know how to get back on track. So I have done quite a few one-on-ones with you ladies this week. I've got quite a few today and some next week. If you have not reached out wanting to do a check-in call with me, please do so. And I am so sorry. I think somebody's having a tree cut down. So hopefully that is not too annoying, but it's just so nice out. I wanted to sit outside. So anyway, if you have not had a one-on-one check-in with me lately, please reach out to me. You can email me, you can text me, but I love scheduling times to talk with you all. I love hearing how you're doing. I love coming up with ideas if we need to make some modifications, whether that's just to getting back on track, which I'm hearing quite a bit. And again, that is normal over the summer. Or maybe you just need some suggestions. You're feeling a little stuck, or maybe you're feeling like it's time for a macro adjustment. You know, I mentioned this in the 6-week training. I have shared it in emails. You cannot stay where you are at forever. We are not supposed to be in a calorie deficit forever. And if you came to me when you started the Fasterway and you said, I want to lose weight, I've put you in a calorie deficit for your macros. And while that's fine for a period of time, it's not good forever. The goal is to spend as much time in maintenance as you can, because that is where you're going to build muscle. We know muscle is the key to longevity. When our metabolic rate is higher, we are able to burn fat at rest. And so if you're looking to lean out, that is important. We need to be fueling our body, and being in maintenance is a great place to be. We don't want to be in a deficit forever. So if you are scared of that, which I know a lot of people are, I was too, do not be afraid. I will not steer you wrong. And the thing with macros, they're numbers. They're literally just numbers, and they can change at any time. So we can do a slight increase, which is what I like to do a slight reverse, to bring up your macros if you're feeling like you need to a little bit, but then we can also take them back down. So you're not stuck at your macros forever, and you shouldn't be at the same macros forever. So I'm not going to get into that a whole lot right now, but what I'm hearing from some of you is that you haven't been able to be very adherent. If you are hungry, especially if you've maybe been doing the advanced workouts, you're lifting heavier, you're working out a little bit longer, it might be time to make those adjustments. That being said, if over the summer you have not been really adhering to tracking your macros, I want you to start there. I want you to, track your macros for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if you're still feeling like you're hungry, you're not lifting as heavy, your biofeedback is off, reach out to me and we can make an adjustment. But if you have not been tracking, that's where you need to start. You have got to get back to tracking your macros religiously. That is where the magic happens. So, all that to say, if you've backslid a little bit over the summer, it is okay. And that is one of the reasons that Faster Way is putting us into a little bit of a deficit for the month of August. So you may have seen in my email or communication from Faster Way or in your app that on Fridays, just for the month of August, we are going to be having a low macro day. So if you are new to VIP, which some of you are, welcome. A low macro day is essentially 25% less of your macros. And this is not something that you have to calculate or worry about. Of course, the Fastaway app does it for you, which I love. It takes the guesswork out of it. And we have that paired with an active recovery day. So again, it's about 25% less of your macros that we are going to have on Fridays. So the macro cycle for August is going to be Monday, Tuesday, low carb, which you're all used to. Wednesday, Thursday, regular macro, which you're used to. Friday, low macro, Saturday and Sunday, regular macro, which of course you're used to. So some of my tips for a low macro day, stay away from really calorie dense foods. You might want to skip the overnight oats or the nut butters, bars like protein bars, which are kind of, I always say more of like an emergency type thing. Stay away from those on Fridays, the low macro days. What you really want to focus on is high volume foods, soups, salads, lots of veggies that are not, going to have a ton of calories that are going to eat up all of your calories. I love to do an egg white scramble. So maybe instead of some whole eggs, do egg whites with a ton of vegetables. Filling up on veggies, again, salads with some lean protein. It's a great opportunity to focus on chicken, turkey, fish, shrimp. Those are great lean protein options, egg whites, to focus on a low macro day. And so, do your best. If it's hard, which it will be because 25% of your less of your macros is a challenge, try it out. See how you do. Maybe, oh gosh, something's flying around. Maybe you can't do 25% less, but you kind of meet somewhere in between what your regular macros are and 25% less. Experiment, see how you do. Again, their numbers, they can fluctuate, but it is a good guide. And it's something that we are, again, just doing for the month of August. So that is what the food cycle is going to look like for the month of August. And again, I have also emailed all of this out to you in detail. The email went out on Monday and you can see it, of course, in your app. And I'm just looking down at my notes here because I don't want to miss anything. For the workouts, we are moving into straight sets. Straight sets are great. And I think a big reason that Faster Way is moving into straight sets for August is because August is such a busy season. It's still summer, but it's also back to school. My kids don't go back to school. Both of them go back on August 25th. Some, excuse me. Some go back sooner than that, but it's just an opportunity to just keep things really simple. Straight sets are just that. They are simple. They are easy to follow. Straights are a great opportunity to practice lifting heavier. So if you have been using 10-pound weights, 12-pound weights for deadlifts or goblet squats, maybe you try experimenting with lifting a little bit heavier and see how you do. There were some moves in the upper body workout today that I started heavier and I had to drop down a little bit, and that's okay. There was another one where I started a little bit lighter and I thought, hey, I can go heavier on this. And I went up. So we are always practicing, and straight sets are a great opportunity to do that. But I just love the simplicity of straight sets. It's nothing fancy. It's just back to basics. And I love that. And it's like I said, a great opportunity to really lean in and lift heavier. Also, I want to make sure you're all aware, there is a workout log in your app. So if you go, I'm pulling up my app to make sure that I tell it to you correctly. But if you go, I believe it is under the nope, hold on. It's under the clipboard icon. If you look under the bonus content, August bonus content, you'll see women's VIP August, our meal guides. You'll see that here. And then right below here is the workout log. So if you open that up, you can print this off. And this is a great way you can download it and then email it to yourself or whatever and print it. But it's a great way to keep track of what are you lifting? What are you doing for deadlifts? What are you doing for rows? What are you doing for bicep curls? It's a great opportunity to track your progress. So if that's something you're interested in doing, that is an option for you. It is in the app, which I love. So yes, straight sets for this month, for the month of August. And if you are not feeling challenged, again, you need to be lifting heavier. The workouts are challenging, but you have to also know when you need to challenge yourself. So if, like I said, you start the first set and you're like, wait a minute, I could lift heavier. pick up heavier weights if you have them. And if not, maybe this is an opportunity to look into getting some. Maybe you grab a set of weights that's 5 pounds heavier. I've had clients go to Facebook Marketplace. There's also places that I can't remember what it's called, like Play It Again Sports. There's one in Novi. I think there's also one in Troy. Those are great options. So you can sell something back and then buy something cheaper, or just go in and purchase something that's gently used. Also, Amazon is always good. Target, Walmart, Meijer, all of these places have weights. Dunham's, Dick's. You can find weights everywhere. So maybe you want to do a little price shopping if you're ready to get some heavier weights. But that is a sign that you are getting stronger. And that is what the goal is. We all want to be building muscle. We all want to be getting stronger. And straight sets is an excellent way to do it, but you've got to pair it with your nutrition. So if maybe you've just been focusing on the workouts, this summer, but you've let the nutrition go, like I said, which it happens, you're not going to see the results in your workouts if you are not focusing on your nutrition. It is incredibly important that you are getting that fuel in, that you are getting the carbs, the protein, the fiber, and the fat. You've got to be dialing in your nutrition to be able to see the results in the gym. It really goes hand in hand. It is the science-backed reason why the Faster Way works. And so I just want to encourage you, again, if you've been a little bit off track, get back to consistency, get back to tracking your macros, because nutrition is 80 to 90% of it. Hands down, it's 80 to 90%. You can work out all day long in the gym, which I don't want you doing, obviously, but I mean, you can do your workouts every single day. And if you're not fueling your body properly with enough of the nutrients that you need, you're not going to get the strength gains that you're looking for, and you're not going to get the body composition results that you're looking for. So just another plug, get back in, get to tracking. If you are like, Amy, I need a little kick in the behind, reach out to me. We can set up a time to talk. I have had several conversations with you guys. I have some more today. And like I said, next week too. I love, love, love chatting with you. And if you need some suggestions or somewhere to start, if you're feeling off track, reach out. We can chat. Okay. That's that. Also, the 24-hour fast for August is going to be on August 28th. So make note of that. We talked about low macro days. Okay, so maybe some of you have seen me talk about, we are having a 5-day micro commitment coming up on August 18th, and it is called the Cortisol Reset. This is something we have never done before. It is brand new for Faster Way. A lot of you have come in through micro commitments, whether it was Melt Your Middle or Belly Blast or the 5-day smoothie detox. This is a whole new one that we are trying, and I am so excited about it. And because you all are in VIP, you get access to it. You get all of the same information, which is fantastic. But remember, you do not need to opt in. You do not need to pay. You don't need to do anything. It's one of your perks of being a VIP, is that you have access to all of these extra trainings and things that we do. Now, just to give a little heads up of how this is going to work. Your workout cycle and food cycle will not change in your app for the 5-day cortisol reset. So I just want to let you know that. But you will have access to the guide. So you will have access to the meal guides and the trainings, and it will tell you what the food cycle and the workout cycle is during the week. Okay. So, just want to kind of lay that out there. It's not going to show up automatically, but as you know, you can go into your app and you can now change your macro cycle. There is a tutorial in the app if you have forgotten how to do that. If you don't want to do that, you can just kind of like mentally do it, which I tend to do because I just don't feel like changing things in the app. So for this, I am planning to follow the 5-day cortisol reset from Monday through Friday, the 18th to the 22nd. I encourage you to join me. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. It's just an extra bonus. And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But again, the food cycle and the macro cycle for those 5 days will change, but they will not automatically change in your app. You will have to go in and you will have to look for the workouts, and you can change the macro cycle. If you need extra help with this, let me know. But for the workouts, if you want to follow along with the 5-day cortisol reset, you just need to go into the play button in your app. I will show you guys how to do that. So when you are in your app, let me just get back to my home page. Okay, so when you're in your app, the play button at the bottom here, you will click that. And then, as you know, that's how you can see, like, this was last week's workouts if you want to look at them. This is this week's workouts if you want to look ahead to see what is for the rest of the week. So you can go in and choose the workout that way. Now, I'm going to tell you what the food cycle and the workout cycle is going to be. And again, it's just for this 5 days. And it's all about cortisol management. That is what we are going to be talking about. There's going to be a lot of great information. So on Mondays, we are going to have a regular macro day with total body strength. Tuesday is going to be a low carb day with Pilates. Wednesday is going to be a regular macro day with upper body. Yes, with upper body. Thursday is going to be a low carb day with a walking meditation. And Friday is going to be a regular macro day with leg day. So as you have noticed, if you want to partake in that 5-day cortisol reset, there is no HIIT. And this is something that we've never done before, but it's super exciting. So try it out. See how you do. Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you won't. Maybe HIIT is your absolute favorite thing and you feel amazing. And maybe you say, you know what, for these 5 days, I'm going to change things up a little bit. I know it's going to be hard for me. I am very much a creature of habit. I love knowing what to expect every day. And so this is going to be a change. But again, it's just for 5 days. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to experiment with everybody else doing the 5-day cortisol reset. I'm excited to see how my body responds to it. And it's just 5 days. So try it out. So again, new macro and workout cycle for the 5-day cortisol reset. We are going to have Dr. Stephen Cabral is going to be doing a training for us. There is going to be more info to come. You'll have all of it in the guide in your app, which will be under the clipboard icon, but it won't be until that week. So, the guides and things like that don't come out until that week. I know somebody had asked me about the meal guides. It's not going to be automatic in your app. That's only going to be automatic for the people that are opted into the 5-day cortisol reset. But again, you can follow the meal guides and go about it that way. So, super exciting about that. And I will say, if you know of anybody that you think would benefit from checking out the Faster Way and the 5-day cortisol reset, let me know. If you are already a ambassador/partner, which is free to sign up for. If you want that link, let me know. I can send it to you. You can sign up and then you can refer people. You can earn a small commission, which is great. But I just think it's going to be a great opportunity for people to check out the Faster Way. So if you know of anybody you think would be interested, please let me know. And this is, there's a lot of talk about cortisol out there on the internet and about lowering your cortisol. And the reality is we don't really want to lower our cortisol all that much. We want to be able to manage our cortisol. We want to be able to, when we wake up in the morning, we want our cortisol to be high so we can get out of bed and we can start our day. And then as the day goes on, our cortisol lowers. But for some people, it's not. Their cortisol is off and they need to learn how to manage it better. And so we're going to have strategies and tools and we're going to learn together. I'm excited to learn alongside you guys about how we can manage our cortisol and regulate our nervous system. And that is also ultimately going to help with fat loss and with all of our health goals. And listen, is everybody going to be able to regulate their cortisol in 5 days? No. Nothing is going to happen, drastically in 5 days, but it's going to be a great introduction. It's going to be a great learning experience, and we're going to just try some different things. So I am so excited about it. So let me know in the comments if you are planning to join us for the cortisol reset. Again, don't sign in, don't opt in, don't pay. You have access to all of it. So that's that. Something else I want to touch on that maybe you guys have noticed. So we have our mobile version of the app, and then we have our desktop version of the app. I personally love to use the desktop version of the app for my workouts because it's really hard to see our workouts on our mobile device. So I love to do that. I've never used the desktop version of the app for anything else. I know some of you use it for nutrition, but I want to let you know, and unfortunately, they did not give us a heads up on this, and I actually wasn't able to use the desktop version of the app Monday and Tuesday, which is how I figured this out because I finally emailed customer service app support because I couldn't figure out what was going on. They have made some updates to the desktop version of the app. And some of you may not be happy to hear this, but you will not be able to view the nutrition on the app anymore. It is just going to be for workouts. There's the good and the bad. The good is that now the desktop version of the app for the workouts is synced with your mobile app. So in the past, if you completed a workout on your desktop version and you clicked done or completed, it wasn't giving you a star in the app. So you'd have to then go to the app to track it that way, click done on the app, and then you would get the star. Now they are syncing together. And so through their research and user, how clients have been using the app, it's been mainly for the workouts. So if you liked to look at your nutrition on the app, I am sorry, you are not going to be able to do that anymore. Hope you understand. You can always do it from your app. And now I hear the garbage truck. So I hope that is not super annoying. If you are continuing to have difficulties with the desktop version of the app, if you use it for your workouts, please go ahead and email app support. That's what I did, and they can help troubleshoot on a one-to-one basis better than I can. I don't know how to fix things in the app or the desktop version. The way that you can do that if you need to email app support is to go into your app, and you are going to go to the profile icon at the bottom. Oop, where is it? Over here. And then you'll scroll and you will get to FAQs and help, contact support, and then the email comes up for the FasterWay app support. So that's how I was able to get the info about the app. Again, it's not perfect right now, but it's getting better. So if you're having difficulty and you're not able to get it to work, reach out to FasterWay. They emailed me back and gave me a new like desktop, like a new link. So I just deleted the old one that I had saved as a bookmark on my laptop and using the new one, and I've had no trouble with being able to access the workouts that way. So hopefully that is going to be okay for all of you. Let me see here. Okay. I just want to go back and touch on something really quickly. If you feel like, and I know I sort of mentioned this at the beginning, but I just want to talk about it again. If you feel like you are not seeing results, if you feel like maybe you're in a plateau, which is normal, a lot of times, from my experience, that is because maybe you have stopped tracking or you're not being as diligent about tracking. So again, my biggest tip, get back to tracking diligently, at least 2 to 3 weeks before you say to me, this isn't working, I need to adjust my macros, because it might just be that you just need to get back to tracking, which again, summertime, it's a little more laxed, it's a little more laid back, it's all good. But now is the time as we head back into school and routine to really get back into doing what we know works. And you guys, the nutrition is 80 to 90% of the game. So start there. It is so important to track your macros. If you are feeling frustrated, if you need help, if you need suggestions, you can always reach out to me. I also want to remind you of the new amazing AI features. I'm sorry, that garbage truck is so loud. I'm going to go back into my app. I just want to make sure you all know, because I was talking to somebody the other day that did not know about the AI features in the app for logging. If you go into your macros and you want to add food, I'm going to click the add food button. You now have multiple ways of logging your food. So you can do it manually like we always did. You can use the barcode scanner if maybe you're tracking a protein powder or a nut butter or something like that. We also have our voice logging, so you can click that and just tell the app what you ate. You can say, I had 3 whole eggs, 2 egg whites, a cup of strawberries, a tablespoon of almond butter, and track it. The other thing you can do is the photo logging. So you can take a picture of your food, which I particularly love this if I'm eating out at a restaurant or, somewhere that maybe I don't have my food scale or I'm not able to measure properly. The photo logging is great. It's not always 100% perfect. It's getting better. The more we use it, the smarter it gets. So, but you can also easily make some adjustments. So for example, we were up north this past weekend and we went out to meals and I took pictures of my food and it was pretty darn accurate. So I love that because I can still keep on track. It may not be perfect, but it's still a great opportunity to stay on track. Something else I want to talk about with tracking is using a food scale. This is something else I have chatted with a few of you about. If you are using a food scale, amazing. If you have not, or you don't have one, or you don't know how, that's okay. You can start doing that now. I have a couple of food scales that I've had. I think both of them were $10, maybe 12 on Amazon. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I don't necessarily think one is way better than the other. They're all calibrated to do the same thing. But the reason that using a food scale is important is because it's, first of all, very eye-opening to portion sizes. And what I love about using a food scale is when you use a food scale at home and you do it consistently, when you do go out, you can kind of eyeball what a portion size is. Because I can promise you, if you think you're scooping out a tablespoon of peanut butter or a tablespoon of almond butter, it's probably double. And I know this from personal experience because it was very eye-opening to me when I started tracking and I thought, oh, this is a tablespoon. It wasn't. Oftentimes it was way more than what I thought it was. So I particularly love to use a food scale for protein and fats. Am I using a food scale for lettuce and tomatoes? No. But I am using it for my protein and my fats, especially nut butters, avocado. If I do like an avocado mayo for something, I always use my food scale. Of course, if I'm not home, I can't. But I have a good idea now. But if I'm at home, it honestly doesn't take any extra time. It's so simple and it's just going to become a habit. I keep it right in the drawer. at my counter, so it's easily accessible for me to take out and use. But I highly recommend if you're getting back into tracking that you use a food scale. The other thing I do use a food scale for is protein, because protein, again, you might think, oh, I have a 4 ounce piece of chicken, and maybe it's two, which a lot of times I thought when I first started tracking, I'm like, oh, that's probably 3 or 4 ounces. And it was more like 2 ounces. So you just want to be really careful that you're getting enough protein because that is super important. The other thing you want to be really careful about when it comes to using a food scale and tracking is that however you track it, however you weigh it, is how you track it. So if you weigh raw chicken, you must track it in the app as raw chicken. And I will tell you, for pretty much recipes, unless it says that a meat is cooked, assume the recipe is talking about it being raw. So, if you're making, like tonight, I'm going to make the air fryer hot honey chicken in the app, which by the way, if you have not made that, it is like my kid's favorite. It is so good, so simple, comes out perfect every single time. That's just a little side note. It's an amazing recipe, but the recipe is calling for raw chicken. Okay. So just know that when you're following a recipe, unless it says it's cooked in the recipe for the amount of ounces, it's raw. Now, what I like to do when I'm tracking, I don't like to then, like, okay, let's just say I was making grilled chicken for dinner. I am going to measure it cooked and I'm going to track it cooked because I don't want to measure a piece of raw chicken, but then I'm cooking chicken for my whole family. So how do I remember which piece was mine? And it's going to lose about 25% of its volume when it's cooked. So if it's a piece of raw chicken is 4 ounces, it's probably going to be closer to 3 ounces when it's cooked. So I find it's just easier. Like last night, I grilled chicken for our family and we had it with leftover potatoes and veggies that I had roasted the night before. And I wanted 4 ounces because that was what I had pre-tracked in my app the day before for what I was going to have for dinner. I grilled the whole batch of chicken and then I measured out 4 ounces for myself and I was done. It was easy once the chicken was cooked. I didn't have to worry about it and I knew that it was correct and I was getting the right amount of chicken. So I highly recommend using a food scale. If you still don't understand how to use a food scale and you have questions, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to walk you through that, but it's really such a simple tool. Even little things like, nut pods in your coffee or all of those things add up. And if you think, well, just a little dash of this and a little bit, you don't really know how much it is. So just getting back, using a food scale is a great tool. And something else with tracking, track everything. If you are doing licks, tastes, bites, and you think it doesn't add up, it does. If you're going throughout your day and, oh, I'll just have a little lick of that or a little bit extra of that, it all adds up. So get back to tracking. We're getting back into fall. We're getting back into routine. And I'm just so excited for the month ahead. It's going to be a great month, straight sets, new macro cycle with a low macro day on Friday, the 5-day cortisol reset. If you're interested in checking that out, we have our 24-hour fast on August 28th. Again, go back to my email from Monday if you want to review the info again. If you have any questions, if you want to chat, if you want to set up a one-on-one call with me, please let me know. I absolutely love connecting with you guys and hearing how you're doing. And I just hope you all have an amazing rest of your Thursday.